So it's come to my attention recently that there's a video making its way around the internet, and it's causing quite a bit of commotion.
Give him that hawk and spit on that thing.
No, not that one. But damn, do I appreciate you, Hawk to a girl. I'm talking about this video.
It was all about the people recognizing bigotry, the power of the community, not fodder for your clickbait.
Now this woman is Amanda Stenberg. She's the star of the new series on Disney Plus called The Acolyte. And she made this insane little musical number that's more cringy than your average cat ear wearing fucking weeaboo. As a response to all the negative feedback that the show's been getting since its release. But instead of aiming her animosity towards maybe the show's writers or the producers or hell, even the show's creator, who happens to be the former personal assistant of Harvey Weinstein, Leslie Headland. But no, instead she wants to blame it on all the racists and bigots who just really hate to see diversity in their show. Now initially, I wasn't planning on even covering this show because I don't want to watch another fucking dumpster fire brought to me by Lucasfilm. But since Amanda doesn't seem to actually realize why this show is doing so poorly, I figured I'd take a minute to point it out to her and help her along.
This is, I would say, arguably the gayest Star Wars, I think, by a considerable.
Not the gayest Star Wars. Not the because nerds are gay.
Well, some nerds are very not gay and are very threatened by gay
Well, that's
stuff.
true. But in my world, nerds are gay.
But you can't look and see that Anakin blowing up the Death Star possibly killed millions and millions of people.
So my character, you know, she's a powerful leader. She's a powerful leader. Yes, yes. Because I feel like Star Wars is very, like, patriarchal.
And if you don't like the Acolyte, that's fine. It doesn't matter.
So with that being said, let's get into The Acolyte.
You gonna need me this week?
Maybe Friday. Now where are the gays? Over here. No, the really cartoony gays. Yoo-hoo! There you are. We're gonna need you guys all week.
As of right now, only 5 out of the 8 episodes have been released, and I haven't seen episode 5, so I figured I'll just go ahead and recap the first 4. So the show starts off with the world's shittiest assassin looking for a Jedi on some random-ass planet that you've never heard of. She makes her way to the local cantina because, of course, it's Star Wars, and God forbid we don't have a cantina scene. The shills might freak out and start eating their own hands or something. So, like every good assassin, she walks directly up to the Jedi, who happens to be Trinity from The Matrix, and challenges her to a fucking fist fight.
Attack me with all your strength.
I guess now that Trinity's in it, they just decided, fuck it, we're gonna make this a Matrix show instead of Star Wars because it's all about Kung Fu now. This fight lasts entirely too long because Trinity is easily dodging every single punch thrown at her, but then she forgets how the Force works, and the assassin manages to trick her and throw a knife into her chest. If only it was a lightsaber that went straight through her torso. I hear those are pretty easy to survive nowadays. Anywho, Assassin Lady happens to have a twin sister that looks exactly like her because neither of them have their own personality and had the same exact hair color and style for the last 16 years. Her name is Osha and she works as a mechanic on a ship, and apparently she's a pretty shitty one because within the first 10 seconds of her actually doing her job, she manages to fuck up and cause a fire in space. How they managed to have this campfire gently blowing in the breeze in the vacuum of space is fucking beyond me. I have no fucking idea, and they certainly don't have any fucking idea.
Because they're stupid.
We then get to meet Jedi Yord, whose only purpose in the show is to remind us that all men are retarded and that the women are much better than them in every way.
Master Soul!
Along with his Padawan that we never see again for some fucking reason. But they're here to arrest Osha for the murder of Trinity. I guess when you have the ability to travel to infinite worlds, there only happens to be 2 black women with the same color braids. But fuck it. The bigger question is why they decided to send a dipshit and a child to go arrest somebody who possibly killed a Jedi Master. Like as if that person couldn't just absolutely maul the shit out of the both of them.
Are you fucking retarded? The hell's the matter with you?
Don't worry, folks, it gets worse. We then get to meet Jedi Master Soul, some green lady who literally only got her job because she's fucking the boss. And hey, look, it's the gender studies graduate. Ah, I missed her. And between the 3 of them, they have a combined IQ of about 12, and they will spend the rest of the show just making everything worse at every opportunity. So onto the prison transport, we see that Osha's in there with 3 other prisoners and 1 fucking guard. Because again, why would you possibly need to put security on someone who killed a fucking Jedi Master? Are you retarded? So shockingly enough, the prisoners escape and leave Osha on board to crash and die. I absolutely wish she did, because then the show would have been over and I wouldn't have to watch any more of it. But unfortunately she crashes into a planet that I assume is made of fucking marshmallows and cotton candy because she's just perfectly fine. So the Jedi hop on their little short bus into space to meet up with Osha, just for them to catch up with her, and she tells them, hey, I didn't do it, and Sol automatically goes, yeah, alright. And before the episode ends, we get their big reveal that there's a Kylo Ren ripoff, apparently the master of Assassin Lady, and he's the one who's actually pulling the strings. And then he lights his lightsaber so that we could get the shills to come in their pants.
An acolyte kills the dream.
He Vadered! He Vadered!
Just before we end the episode.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it so much.
So on to episode 2, we see Assassin Lady breaking into a Jedi temple to kill her next target, who happens to look like he's somehow 12 and 68 at the same time. She tries challenging him with her have at thee bitch attitude, and finds out that he's protected by a force field, or some shit. So she tries attacking him like a dog running into a window repeatedly. Until she finally gives up and fucks off. We then cut over to Osha, who's pulling a Rey Palpatine and tells the pilot of a ship how to fix her own fucking ship. And Sol pops up just to tell her that she's coming along for the ride because they need her for some fucking obligatory reason that makes no fucking sense. I don't know why he decides he wants to bring her along. She can't use the Force, she can't fight, she's fucking useless.
Does that make sense? Ladies and gentlemen, I am not making any sense. None of this makes sense.
I guess it's just so the plot can happen. So the Assassin Lady, her name is May, by the way, in case you care. She meets up with a friend of hers to give her a poison in order to kill Grandpa Child. And I kid you not, I assumed that she was going to poison his food or something. You know, something that makes sense. But, no, she literally puts it in front of him on the floor, and then he just kind of wakes up and looks at it and apologizes for being white or something, and then kills himself.
Forgive me. We thought we were doing the right thing.
Oh my god, it's so fucking stupid. What in the actual fuck is happening? Like, this was the best you guys could come up with. Like, that was it. He just kills himself. If that was an option, why didn't he kill himself prior? Why didn't he let her kill him the night before? Oh, that's right. It's because the creators are fucking stupid. I forgot to even mention, if your suspension of disbelief hasn't been completely shattered at all at this point, just look at this cheesy gordita crunch looking motherfucker. There is no way in hell this fucking land orca is a Jedi Knight. Fuck your DEI nonsense. There's no way this is happening. Just think back real quick to Luke's training from The Empire Strikes Back. There was a lot of flipping and running, and he had to use his force powers to lift rocks and shit. The only force power this fucker has is force feeding himself.
I've got bigger titties than you do. I've got more chins than a Chinese phone book. I've not seen my willy in 2 years, which is long enough to declare legally dead.
So anywho, our merry band of jackasses decide they're going to go pay a visit to the poison guy and trick him into giving up all of his information on May so that they could trick her and get a jump on her. Why they don't just read his mind or read anybody else's mind when it actually makes sense is beyond me, but who knows? Fuck it. So Sol decides that he needs to take on May by himself for some fucking reason, and he does absolutely fuck all until she just kind of gives up and attacks him with the good old pocket sand and then runs away.
Pocket sand.
But not before running into Osha so that she could see her sister's alive, and then she just kind of fucks off again. And just before the episode ends, we get to see a little sneak peek of our next target, and he happens to be a Wookiee Jedi. I'm sure that'll be really fucking exciting. I can't wait to see how that pans out. So then the episode's over, and I hope you guys are fucking buckling up because it's about to get so much worse.
No! No! No!
So the third episode is a flashback episode to when the twins were children on their home planet, and apparently their village is the only place with people in it, and get this wacky shit, it's a coven of communist lesbian space witches.
You serious?
Just let that sink in for a moment. I'm not joking. This is where Star Wars is now. This is what we get. So the girls are supposed to take part in their indoctrination ceremony later that day, but it turns out Osha doesn't want to. She wants to be free and live her own life and be her own person. But then her lesbian moms are like, nah, this is what you want. This is what you want to do. You'll never be special until you do this. The same thing we all did, because we're all special and individuals. But we dress the same and we do all the same shit and we never leave each other's sides. And yeah, so one of the lesbian moms is the leader of this coven, and she decides to tell us about how the Force is all bullshit. It's actually called the Thread. The patriarchy just decided to take the Thread and turn it into the Force and basically make it a weapon because men are evil.
Some call it a force and claim to use it. But we know the Thread is not a power you wield.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. May God have mercy on your soul.
Well, I guess go fuck yourself, George Lucas. Everything you create is a lie. Then it's time for the ceremony, and we get this insane fucking display that looks like every modern feminist rally.
The power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
And before Osha could get her indoctrination glowy purple bullshit, the Jedi luckily show up to save the day. Apparently they know the kids are being trained to use the Force, and they've come here to check out the kids and test them to see if they could become Jedi. So between the Jedi and the coven of lesbian communist space witches, they get into an argument that pretty much goes nowhere and ends with them agreeing to let them test the kids. Then we get this bullshit conversation between the two lesbian moms, explaining that the kids had no father, they were actually born from the Thread, or through Force scissoring, which I'm gonna put my money on that one. So I guess fuck you too, Anakin Skywalker, you're not special anymore. So then the girls get tested, and May lies, and Osha tells the truth because she actually wants to be a Jedi, and she wants to leave with them, even though she has no idea what the fuck a Jedi is, or has ever heard of them before, but, you know, fuck it, plot. Then May all of a sudden is an absolute psychopath, and decides that because Osha wants to leave, she's just gonna kill her and sets the building on fire somehow. I don't know how this entire building gets covered in flames. I guess it's made of paper mache or something. Looks like stone, but what do I know?
How did this happen?
That's a very good question.
So that's where I left my cigar.
That just raises further questions.
So anywho, Osha escapes and she's trying to run away, and she finds that all the communist lesbian space witches have died within a time span of 2 minutes somehow, and then she watches her sister fall to her death because Saul forgot how the Force works, and then she fucks off with them to go become a Jedi. Now at this point in time, I was absolutely losing my fucking mind with this nonsense, but it still somehow just keeps getting worse. So episode 4 is probably the most pointless episode, and somehow it's more boring than it is stupid. And then we get to start the episode by checking in on our Wookiee Jedi, and he's just cooking up some grass. That's it. That's the scene. But then we go back to Coruscant, and Osha's apparently decided that she's going to leave, but not before saying goodbye to her good friend Gender Studies, and thanking her for all the help she's done, even though she's done absolutely fuck all in any way, shape, or form. So why she's thanking her, I have no idea. Oh, I see. It's because they wanted to have a forced lesbian relationship out of nowhere. Got it. So then we get to see a bunch of Jedi debating on what to do next, and for some reason Ki-Adi-Mundi is here, even though he's not supposed to be born for another 40 years. But that's what happens when you have talentless pricks making shows. They just decide they're going to throw in any sort of reference they could possibly think of, even though it has nothing to do with a goddamn thing happening, just because they need to distract you from the fact that they don't actually know what they're doing.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
So then Leslie Headland's wife decides that she's going to argue with Saul on what to do next, and eventually it just ends up with her deciding that she's going to go with the exact same thing he said from the last episode. And somehow he convinces her to let him bring Osha along, because why? What use is she in the slightest way? She is fucking useless. So now on the ship, we got our dipshit group of Jedi, a bunch of cannon fodder group of Jedi, and some gopher man ready to fucking go hunt May down. But not before we make sure we know what the gopher's pronouns are.
Esposo, is he or they with us?
Are you fucking kidding me right now? It's been 10 minutes into the episode, and not a goddamn thing has happened, but thank fuck we know what the goddamn pronouns are for a gopher. Alright, I'm good. Okay. So they eventually land, and then we get to watch them walk through a forest, and then we go see May and Poison Guy walk through the forest, and then back to the Jedi walking through the forest. There's talking in between both the groups, and nothing's fucking happening. Then Osha accidentally disturbs a big moth monster that flies around and pretty much flies into a lightsaber and kills itself almost immediately, so that was fucking pointless.
I have it.
But then we get a scene between Osha and gender studies talking about what a victim Osha is and how hard her life has been, but at least gender studies is there to tell her that she's fantastic and amazing in every way. Then we get back to more walking, and then all of a sudden, out of fucking nowhere, May decides that, you know that thing that I've been training for the last 16 years? Yeah, fuck it, I don't want to do that anymore. She just quits. She just stops.
Then quit, you slimy fucking walrus fucking piece of shit!
Literally, out of fucking nowhere, she gives up and decides that she's gonna turn herself into the Jedi, and she's not gonna go to prison because they're gonna let her off easy for giving up information about the Sith, I guess?
Oh, well, all you have to do is tap your heels together 3 times.
Really?
No, you fucking dipshit!
You fucking murdered a Jedi Master, and claim you murdered another one, but he killed himself for white guilt or whatever. Either way, you're not getting away with it, but then again, this show is made by retards for retards, so I guess they might let her off easy. I don't fucking know. It's so fucking stupid. Why is it so fucking stupid? So she quickly makes her way to the Wookiee Jedi's house just to find him dead in a chair. I hope you weren't looking forward to that, because that's it. That's all you get. You get to see him use force pull once and cook some grass, and he's done. He's gone. You're welcome. So it turns out that the Master is here, and he pops up behind Osha. All the Jedi turn on their sabers and charge at him. He then chucks Osha into some trees, and then force pushes all the Jedi away in one shot, and the episode is finally over.
Yay! To the mesosphere! Finally, we can die!
Jesus Christ, that was a fucking miserable 2 hours. Like, seriously, I feel like I just got done paying penance for all of my sins. There's not a single positive thing I can say about this show. It was an absolute piece of shit. From the absolutely horrible acting, which the best actor in this entire show is fucking Soul, and that guy doesn't speak English. That's not a racist joke. The actor actually couldn't speak fucking English. They had to have a translator tell him everything that was happening.
감동은 진짜 지금도 잊을 수가 없습니다.
Yeah, I mean, when I was stepping onto set for the first time, my heart was pounding.
And the show is supposed to be pitched as a murder mystery, yet within the first episode you know who's already killing the Jedi, and it's so fucking predictable that you could probably just call out that the poison guy is gonna be the fucking Sith Lord. Anytime a character runs into a problem, it's resolved within about 5 fucking minutes. Like when Osha is standing over the body of Torben and everyone walks in and blames her for the murder, all of a sudden Yord just pops in and just like, nah, I was here the whole time. She didn't do it. Oh, okay. Problem solved. Like, what the fuck is the point of any of this shit? Half of these problems could be solved if they just go to the High Council, tell them what's going on, and then they'll have actual, I don't know, good Jedi who aren't fucking stupid to solve things. Like, seriously, why can't they just go get Yoda? He would solve all their problems really fucking quick. And as far as the stage design goes, everything just looks fucking cheap. Everything looks like it's being filmed on these tiny little sound stages, and it's maybe about 20 feet wide. Kind of like when they were filming Star Trek back in the 70s and everything was made of cardboard. And this show had a $180 million fucking budget. Where did all that money go? Because it didn't go to that Kel Naka fight that was supposed to happen. They said they didn't have the budget for it. $180 million. Are you fucking high? So in response to Amanda's stupid little song about how everyone's racist and oppressing her, even though she's half white, been rich since she was a child, has had a very privileged life since she was a child, and she didn't even have to audition for this role. It was hand-given to her by a white person. Leslie Headland, being the creepy little fucking weirdo she is, made concept art with Amanda's face on it because she was guaranteed that she wanted her for that role. So, by all means, tell me how oppressed you are. So no, nobody hates the show because of the color of your skin, or your gender, or your sexual identity. We hate this show because it's a piece of shit. And seeing as I'm a spiteful bastard, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and power through the other 4 fucking episodes as they come out. Oh, whiskey give me strength. That's all I got for this one. I apologize for the delay. Life's kind of a bitch like that sometimes. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if there's something you want me to talk about in my next video. I appreciate you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.